Good evening and welcome to the first ever episode of TechTalks by ResellerClub, our knowledge sharing series especially for web developers and designers like you. We're really happy that you tuned in. I'm Chirag and I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes. And the topic we have for you today is the best design trends that you can use to skyrocket your conversions. Now that's really exciting, but if at all you have any questions, please feel free to let us know and we'll make it a point to promptly answer them. Also, if there are any personal business growth stories that you'd like to share, let us know. We're all ears and we want to know how we can help you in business. Now, before I begin introducing more about the topic, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I love learning about the web industry and the way technology shapes our businesses going forward. And since today's topic hinges around the best design trends that we can use to boost our conversions, here's a little something I read recently. Did you know color is so very important when it comes to choosing your perfect website design? So much so that it actually impacts our moods and emotions, which affects the amount of time we spend on a web page. Now that's really strong stuff, and I'm going to pull in today's expert who's going to talk to you about this and a multitude of different factors that you can consider when building your conversion-friendly design. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Siddharth Pereira. We call him Sid. He is the head of design and development at ResellerClub, manages a large team of designers and developers. He's been a whiz in the field, and what's more, he's insanely and wickedly funny.
Hey Chirag,
welcome to the show, Sid.
It's a pleasure, man.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm sure many of you have your own questions, as I'm sure I do. Please feel free to ask away, and let's get this started.
All right.
Okay, so tell us about color. I was walking them through how color impacts our moods and emotions, and it dictates the amount of time we spend on a web page.
Right. So color, right? It's been something we've been learning ever since we were kids. We've known all our lives that red means stop, green go, and so on and so forth. With time, color has evolved. With technology, color has evolved into recognizable emotions.
Right.
Today, when we talk about emotions, we can associate them with colors in a particular way. It has become so important to use this association in your website. It's absolutely important that you use everything that you learn about color in your website, because there are colors that reflect people's moods. There are colors that help you build a website according to the conversion system that you want to do it.
Colors are also representative of a brand's communication strategy.
Absolutely. If you have a color that you're using in your logo, in your brand, etc., make sure that you adapt that color with the rest of your theme of the website. It's so important to use the right colors. If you're using blue, you're trying to actually achieve a sense of calmness, coolness, things like that. If you want, somebody's attention, you want to capture someone's attention, go for the bright vivids, reds, go for the yellows, go for the oranges, etc. Right? Use the right colors, use the right emotions to speak to your audience, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. So use the right colors. You're also talking to me about the F rule.
Yep.
Can you walk our viewers in on what exactly the F rule means and how can it impact their website? I'm curious to know, what is the F rule?
All right. So users have been, reading your website, reading thousands of websites over their lives now, right? You want them to be you want your website to be easily readable. Mm-hmm. So the objective of the F rule is basically to allow a user to read from left to right.
Okay.
Right? And have your catchphrase, your H1, your tagline right there in his face, right? Right there, it should be easily readable in his face. And as you come down, as the user scrolls to the bottom of your page, the content becomes smaller and smaller and smaller.
Right.
The goal here is to not allow your customer to read too much. The goal here is to enable him to just figure out enough information about your product, service, brand, etc. that you want him to achieve. So if you look at an F, F is basically where you have the long line on top, and as you come down, you're allowing your customer and user to read less.
It's more streamlined.
It's absolutely streamlined, yeah.
And that gives him a break from reading that text and a pause to be able to think about what's happening next. And coming to pauses and breaks that we want to give our audience, we're also talking about white spacing and how important that is when it comes to building a website design.
White space is absolutely important. I have never stressed more about this in anyone's design ever,
right.
But it's absolutely important because white space allows your customers and enough time to think. It gives them a sense of a break. Imagine a website filled with enormous amount of content, and you want the user to make a decision, but he's so bombarded with so much content, he just does not have time to think. White space, negative space, that space exists for him to breathe. It exists for him to just to make a decision. Give him those few seconds to make that decision. That's what white space is about.
Okay, so the F rule, the right colors, and white space, when you get these together, what are you giving your audience? You're keeping it simple.
Absolutely.
You're giving him enough ample time to breathe.
Yeah. There is this concept called KISS, right?
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Keep it absolutely simple. Read about KISS. It's a really nice concept to have when you're building a website. Make sure that you have enough information about it, and then build a really simple, minimal, beautiful design.
And this is stuff that he can use for a homepage.
Yes.
Or for any other page.
Any other page. It applies on all pages. Yeah.
These are the important takeaways. Okay. So now we're done with the perfect homepage. Now let's talk about a product page or a landing page for a brochure website or certain services people provide.
Right.
Walk us through what is really important when it comes to these pages and what do I keep a watch for?
So your home page, your product page, your service page, these are pages that drive traffic. These are the pages that are going to convert you and give you sales.
Right.
These are the pages that are going to, be your go-getting pages. You want to make sure that you're not messing it up. Right. So to make sure that you can do this and to make sure there are different ways that you can get the right objective, I recommend people building elements of that page and then structuring it out.
Okay.
Right.
How do you
now there are different elements that you can structure out. Right. For example, your homepage has a lot of information that you don't really care, that doesn't really relate to the product. Right. Your product page needs to relate about the product. Completely.
Okay.
Don't talk about anything else. Don't talk about us. Don't talk about contacting us.
Yeah.
You can talk about support if you have that offering.
Yeah.
But talk everything about the product. Right. Offer the user absolute information about the product. Bulletize those points about the product. Make sure it's minimal. Make sure it's readable. Right. And keep it really simple to read. When you look at product page or a service page, you're trying to sell that product to your customer. So you need to have an image of the product. You need to have reviews of the product. There's a lot of things that come into place on a product page. The number one thing that I keep on telling everybody is use the right images. Use the right images. Use the right media. Try to sell if you have a video. Make a video if you don't have the video. Video is the way to go. Make sure that the page is beautiful to look at. Make sure the page converts and you can do well.
The idea is to communicate as much information about your products
in a very minimal way.
Yeah. Okay, and some tips and tricks that they can use in terms of marketing it and inculcating that with design.
Right.
What do you think about, we were talking about this, creating scarcity.
Right.
Creating scarcity and nudging your audience to just go ahead and make that purchase.
Right. Scarcity has been in the industry for a really long time. A lot of the travel agencies, websites, etc. do it. One of the websites, Booking.com, does it fantastically well. If you look at Booking.com's feature, product that they're selling you, they'll always tell you that you have just a few products left to purchase, few seats on this airplane left. You have 16 minutes to complete this deal. It's a great way to make sure that your conversions are going to get accomplished within that session.
You're creating urgency.
You're creating urgency. You're telling the user, hey, listen, if you don't act now, you're going to lose it. It's over, yeah. So if you have a product that you want to sell for a discounted rate, if you want to, just give them a super deal, exclusive deal for a specific period of time,
right.
I recommend that you put a little, little countdown ticker at the bottom of your page or the side of the page where you tell the user, hey, 15 minutes in this session, if you complete it right now, you get this deal. If you don't complete it, you're going to miss out on it.
Yeah.
Right. So scarcity is basically creating that sense of urgency for you to get that sale and get that, that conversion done.
And what that does is it actually nudges your audience to go ahead and complete that purchase or at least land onto your payments page.
Absolutely.
So that's one. You were also talking to us about A/B testing and...
Okay. Testing, right? Your product page, I told you, it's the most important thing that you'll ever do. Right? Testing. Everything needs to be tested. Absolutely everything.
Right.
You name it and it will be tested.
Okay.
Right? If you're making anything that you want to track, make sure that you have a tool in place. Make sure that the tool that you are using, whatever it may be, Google Analytics, it may be Hotjar, it could be Bing Analytics, it could be anything. Use any business intelligence tool that you need, but make sure you're testing it, right? I recommend A/B testing. It's the best way to ensure that testing happens, right? A/B testing is what exactly? It's basically, I want to test my performance of one product page versus another product page. Right. For example, if I want to sell... Two different audiences, yeah. Now, if I want to sell this cup, right? If I'm selling this cup to someone in America, right, I know I need to create a very beautiful minimal page with more images of the cup, right? It'll probably be blue and it'll be white, it'll be clean, it'll be a really appealing website, a really appealing web page. Now I can get those conversions, right? And it'll work, right? But what if I want to sell this to China? Oh, it's a totally different ball game, right? You need to go into the Chinese mindset. You need to understand the cultural significance of their websites.
Right.
You need to know that red is a brilliant color, that yellow is a brilliant color, gold is a brilliant color. And they love this, and they love content, right? So the thing is, now you don't know anything about the Chinese culture, right? You don't know anything. So what are you going to do? You're going to create two pages. You're going to create a minimal page. You're going to create a cluster content page, right? With all the Chinese elements of their requirements, and you're going to push it out into publication. Then you're going to divert your traffic. You're going to send X amount of traffic to this page and X amount of traffic to this page, and at the end of this entire test cycle, you're going to get a winner, right?
It helps you get the best of
we're going to get a winner.
And tie in case we're not talking geographies, tie in the best of both into one and create.
Absolutely. You'll know exactly how you can, do with little. Yeah.
Okay, what is drunk testing?
Drunk testing, yeah. Okay, this is a fairly new concept. It's not been around for a long time, and people, generally do not do it because, well, I don't think they know where to go to do it. Right? But there are a couple of websites that allow you to do drunk testing. What it essentially means is that you're paying a little amount of money to someone to go out to the shop and buy alcohol, come back, and he's gonna browse your website and try to make a purchase on your website.
Okay.
The goal here is that if you are able to sell a product, right, sell any product that you have to someone who's drunk. Just imagine this. Someone who's drunk, absolutely intoxicated, if he is able to easily navigate your website, right, and click here, click there, make a payment, and done, you've achieved everything that you ever want to do with that page.
Wow. Okay, that's something I didn't know, and
yeah, it's a great thing to do. Absolutely.
Okay. So that's about that, and you were also talking to us about content SEO, and obviously you don't want to plagiarize content and get.
Absolutely, never copy anyone's content. It's not worth it. You're going to get penalized. Google's going to go after you. Forget it. I recommend getting in touch with your marketing team. If you don't have a marketing team, sit down, take your time out and write it down. Get your content in place, right? Minimal content, make it clear, and get the right amount of white hat SEO, right? There's a big difference between white hat and black hat SEO.
What is black hat SEO?
White hat is the right way of doing things. Black hat is the frowned upon way of doing things.
Okay.
There's a guy in our team. His name is Hitesh. He can take you through take you through all the different types of SEO techniques you need to go through.
Yes, stay tuned for Hitesh's session.
Yep. I think you should guys definitely have a session on SEO. It's a very vast topic. There's a lot to cover on that.
Okay. Now, this is one of my favorite things, and we keep discussing these call to action buttons.
Okay.
And its importance on a product page.
Okay.
Its position on a product page. Its design on a product page.
Right.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
It's impossible to do.
It's impossible.
It's impossible to do. I mean, it's absolutely impossible. Let's put it this way. You are a user who's very unique in your own way.
Yeah.
Right? You probably have a way to read a website, and so does my wife and my children, etc. It's very difficult to build one website for everyone. So how do you bridge that gap? Right? Call to action buttons are the most important clickable buttons on your website. The other ones are going to drive your traffic and make sure that your traffic understands your product so that he can go easily and navigate and make a purchase. If you're not placing those buttons correctly, you're missing out on great conversions, right? If you're targeting somebody in Saudi Arabia, you're probably going to read right to left rather than normal, left to right. So there's a lot of thinking that needs to go into placing your buttons. Understand that buttons need to be placed in the first fold. They need to be visible. They need to not have content behind them so that it stands out separately. Buttons are the most important thing that you can't afford to mess up. I recommend that you use the right fonts, you use the right colors. Again, we're talking about colors.
Yep.
Red is a bad color to put on a button, right? But because it indicates stop, alert, things like that. But in China, it would be a brilliant idea to put red on a button.
Yeah.
Right? So understand where your market is, understand
your target market.
Yeah, understand your target audience, and then you'll know exactly what to do with it.
And speaking of call to action buttons, there is a subscribe button. You can hit that and you'll get notifications with us lifetime. We spoke about the homepage, we spoke about the right product page, the service page for a brochure website, and now we're talking about the most important page, the page where the magic happens.
The checkout page. Yeah.
The payments page.
The checkout page. Okay, so the checkout page is, it's ideally for someone who's into the e-commerce,
right?
The websites. Maybe you're not, maybe you are, I don't know. But if you are into e-commerce websites, you're building things out, you're selling a product or selling even a service or digital service online, build the perfect checkout page. I know this is hard to do. There's no such thing as a perfect checkout page. Yeah, it's impossible, almost. But there are a couple of things you can keep in mind by building a checkout page, right?
Okay.
Get rid of the header and footer. Get rid of your site-wide header and footer. the reason is you don't want people to leave your checkout page. The moment you have a header and footer on your checkout page, you're actually encouraging your user to go somewhere else and make a complete, different purchase. Maybe you're asking him to compare something. If your user has taken the trouble of going to your homepage, going to a search bar, searching the product, going to a product page and making a decision and then adding it into his cart, let him complete that payment.
Yeah, you don't need to brand unnecessarily.
Yeah, absolutely. Let him complete that payment because you don't want to change anything. It's working,
right.
Let him complete that payment. Right?
Okay.
So get rid of the headers, get rid of the footers, keep important information there, maybe like your support numbers and people who can, he can call on. So that he can make a purchase smoother, get a different payment method, whatever it is that you want. Right? But get rid of the header and footer.
Coupons would be something that would really help.
Absolutely. Every checkout page requires a coupon field. Right? It goes without saying. But remember one thing: if you have a coupon field, make sure that you have some sort of a dummy coupon or a predefined coupon mentioned on that web page. The reason is that today nobody goes and buys a product without looking for a coupon. So if there's a coupon not available on the internet, you're actually going to ask the user, hey, go and find a coupon, and then he's going to search for it, he's going to get lost, things are going to happen. Maybe you're going to lose out on that sale. I recommend that you don't do that. Keep that default coupon there so that he knows that if he doesn't find something somewhere else, he still gets a discount here.
You don't want to take that extra effort in going out. And
you just don't want your user to leave your checkout page.
So do away with your header and footer, include coupons. Right. Payments. What about payments? Is it healthy to have a lot of payment gateways integrated on?
Yes and no. It's a little tricky question, but let's put it this way. If you know your target audience, if you know who you're reaching out to, if you know how old they are, you know what payment method to offer them, right? There are target audiences that do not know how to use wallet systems, which are so popular today.
Right.
If your target audience is not going to use a wallet system, don't complicate it. Don't put it on your checkout.
Put it on.
Yeah. It's good to have options, but it's not good to have too many options either. Find the gap in between. Offer the credit cards, debit cards, net banking. Go for wallet if you really require.
Right.
And the more complicated stuff like bitcoins and maybe wire transfers, etc. Maybe you can skip those out, but it depends completely how your audience needs to react to those things.
Another important thing you can do is actually capture your credit card information.
Yes, capture your credit card information.
That's just smoothing your purchase process.
It's a nice smoothing way to do things. Yes, it basically means that the next time your user is coming back to your website, he's in your website. He doesn't have to add details again. He just clicks on buy now, and that product or item or whatever is shipped to him.
Right.
So captures details is a great way of
and remembering your users' preferred methods of payment.
Yep. Remember, there are cookies you can set up. Right. Remember everything that your specific user is doing. Remember the particular way he's flown back into your checkout page. Remember the payment method he's chosen. Remember a lot of things that as much as you can about the user, because that's actually kind of building artificial intelligence.
Right.
Right. It gives a really good interface feel.
Sid, how important is it to be ethical when it comes to building your website? I mean, it is, but what are the different things I'm looking for, and what are the different things I'm avoiding?
Ethics is your number one, point of, goal point that you build your brand on, right? It's everything that your user wants. Trust. Users want to trust a website. I find it very difficult to trust a lot of websites today because, there's so many e-commerce websites around there. How do I trust my user? How do I trust the website I'm buying from? Build a very ethical website. Offer money back guarantees if you can. Offer discounts if you can. Offer a way for a customer to contact support. Find a way for him to talk to an account manager. Find a way for him, give him after sales support. It's as good as pre-sale support, right? Give him everything he requires. Build that loyalty. SSL? Build SSL. It's absolutely required. There's no doubt about it, right? Trust comes with a lot of features. It comes with the emotional touch, but it also comes with the digital touch. And you're right, SSL is absolutely important. Right? Do not build any website. Highly recommended. Do not build any website without a digital certificate. Right? In Google and all the search engines around there, they trust SSL certificates on your website. They're going to help you rank higher. Again, we can talk about SEO later, but nobody trusts a website that has no digital certificate on it. Would you make a purchase on a website that did not have a digital certificate?
No.
You wouldn't, right? It's become so important to build these ethics, small guidelines that help you build a very ethical website.
So that just helps build credibility and when you're doing everything ethically, you're not plagiarizing.
Absolutely.
You're clean.
We've spoken about
You're
content.
clean.
Not
Google's clean, yeah. So we're talking about the most important point right now, and that's build for mobile. Because you've seen the numbers, you've seen the amount of people that view websites on their cell phones, on the devices.
Right. This is the first thing we should have spoken about actually. Build for mobile. No brainer here. Build for mobile. In fact, if you're building a website, build first for mobile and then last for desktop. The numbers show it all. Everyone's on your phones today, maybe on their tablets. No one's really carrying around a laptop much, right? I mean, excepting for offices and corporates. But if your users are sitting at home, they're on their mobiles. And build for mobile, optimize for mobile, build really good app-like websites.
Right.
And it's easy to do. It's very easy to do. Right? Get a couple of, a little good of jQuery plugins into it. Build a really good smooth CSS. It's very simple to do. I highly recommend you build for mobile.
Build for mobile.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a few questions now, but before I dive into these, I want you to give our audience 5 things that they can take away from our talk today. What are the 5 most important things we spoke about, according to you?
The 5 important things that I recommend that everybody out there who's designing a website or starting to build their own product website is number 1, build with the right colors, the right fonts, and the right images. Right? Colors we've discussed, they play such an important role with your website. Right? The fonts that you use need to be really clean. It depends who your target audience is.
Right.
If your target audience is a bunch of kindergarteners, Comic Sans would do fantastically well. But if you're talking to corporates, you're talking to somebody you want to go and pitch to, use the good fonts. Use Open Sans. Understand the difference between serif and sans serif, and you'll understand which font you need to use. And images, right? Get images. If you have the money, buy stock images. If you don't have the money, get free stock images. There are websites like FreePic and a couple of more where you can get really good free stock images, right? Get them and you'll be good to go.
Yep.
The second thing that I really recommend people doing is build a minimal design content website. Keep it simple. We discussed about KISS. Keep it really simple and build for minimalism. The third thing that I want to talk about is build for mobile. Right? It should have been number 1 again, but build for mobile. It's the only thing that you'll do right when you want to reach out to people who are sitting in their living rooms. Number 4, build for trust.
Yep.
Right? Your brand is going to speak everything you want it to speak about your website, about your product, about your service. Make sure you're building everything for trusting and build that user trust, man. It's the most important thing that you'll ever do, right? And 5, the only way that you as a web designer or a web developer or whatever niche of design that you want to apply to this, you'll be able to use this only if you have a great sense of design that has been inculcated from you from a source, from a resource, right? So subscribe to places where people are teaching you new things, right? The ResellerClub blog, for example, is a great place to get information about new technologies and new systems that are being built for web today. And don't rely only on the ResellerClub blog. Go elsewhere. Find other places that you can get subscribed to, and you'll be good to go.
Okay, perfect. Let's take some questions now.
Absolutely.
So Max Sydney from Australia is asking us, how can I build a mobile-friendly website, the best mobile-friendly website, and what are some tools that you'd recommend?
Hey Max. Max, there's no real shortcut way to build a mobile-friendly website, right? But there are a couple of ways you can take the easier route. I don't know if you're a web designer, a web developer. I don't know if you're an amateur, you have the pro skills to do this. But if you are starting off, I highly recommend that you get a WordPress, set up. WordPress themes, which are so popular and available everywhere, they have already been built for mobile, right? They've already been identified with their correct classes. That you can rely on a theme because it's completed from end to end. So get a WordPress theme and build for websites, mobile especially. If you're more into aggressive web development building and you want to build from scratch, I highly recommend that you build something on Bootstrap. Bootstrap is great mobile optimization platform that you can use. It's built by Twitter. It's an amazing source for you to start building out really simple websites for mobile and tablets and other resolutions for that matter. So that's a great way to get started.
Okay. So Jeff from Seattle is asking us, my customers keep asking me about what is page speed and how does it impact my website performance for SEO, etc. How do I design for good page speed?
All right. Hey Jeff, Yeah, you're absolutely right. Your customers should be asking you for paid speed. It's really important. The reason it's important is because yes, from an SEO standpoint, it's number one priority for search engines to understand that your website is optimized, it's doing well. But more importantly, it's for your users, right? Your users don't want to get stuck on a website that's running really slow. And there are a couple of things you can do to make sure that your page speed is optimized and working really well. Number one is that a lot of people just they just stick images onto the website. What you need to be doing is converting those images into SVGs or base64s, and then make that code into your page directly so that it can load into your website. Right. Plus, you can always optimize, reduce the weight of your images, use sprites, use other technologies that you want to make images really simple and easy to use.
Okay. So Neha from Indore is asking us, what all can I do with my Reseller Club account and how do I use my account? Neha, it seems that you're new to the platform, and we will have a session coming up on this particular topic. We're going to have an account manager who will be able to do more justice to this than I probably can right now. He's going to walk you through the different products that you can offer, what the control panel can be used for, and the various functions you can perform. So stay tuned for that. We'll keep you posted. James from Dublin has a question for us. He's asking us, as a designer, is it good to use templates or should I build from scratch?
That's a good question, James. It depends on how well you know your coding, how well do you know HTML development. Building from templates is a great way to get started. It's already been predefined by an author. It's optimized for whatever CMS that you want to use. It's a great thing. I highly encourage a lot of people to start using websites, any CMS, and plonk a theme or template into it. Building from scratch means that you need to know what you want to build, right? You need to get your technologies right. You need to understand where you're going right, where you're going wrong. Right. There's a lot of bug fixing, a lot of tweaking, a lot of things that you need to get done right. It completely depends. If you have the pro skills to do it, I highly recommend that you do it with pro skills, because sometimes people recognize templates, sometimes people recognize the theme, and a lot of e-commerce websites, a lot of websites keep on using themes, right? And it can become so redundant to see the same theme again just by seeing a different color change here and there. Right. So if you have the pro skills, yes, go ahead and build something from scratch. I promise you it will be highly appreciated, but there's a risk of even not doing it correctly. So I highly recommend you build it absolutely correctly.
And there's nothing wrong in, for the time being, starting by using something that's already pre-made, like a template.
Absolutely, nothing wrong at all.
All right. So that's about it for our questions. Thank you so much for joining us, Sid.
Thank you, Chirag, man.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Always fun.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope this session gave you enough to take away and apply to your businesses. If there is any future topic that you'd like to hear more about, I can't emphasize this more. Do let us know so we can get the industry's best minds to share some amazing tips and tricks with you that can help you grow in business. Don't forget to check out some amazing promos on ResellerClub.com all through the months of June and July. And to know more about our next topic and when and what it exactly is, do follow us on Facebook and YouTube, because that's the place we're going to keep you updated. Thank you so much.